to SuperGuide's walkthrough of the Home Equity Access Scheme calculator provided by Centrelink. The Home Equity Access Scheme is a reverse mortgage that's provided by the Australian Government through Centrelink. To be eligible to use the scheme, you need to be age pension age or above and age pension eligible. That doesn't mean you need to be receiving a payment. Your payment could be reduced to zero by your income and assets through the means tests. That means you're still eligible for age pension, but your payment rate is zero. In that situation, you're still eligible to use the Home Equity Access Scheme. You can also use it if you are currently receiving some age pension. It just impacts the maximum amount that you can borrow. The scheme can be very tricky to understand, so the calculator is very useful to show you the maximum that you can borrow and how your proposed borrowings would impact your home equity in future years if you do decide to use the scheme. At the moment, the calculator is using an interest rate of 3.95% for the loan, and that's because that's the current interest rate that applies to the scheme. It is quite a bit lower than interest rates that are available through commercial reverse mortgages, and it's a rate that is set by the government. It can change with the prevailing interest rates, so do be aware of that. Let's scroll down and see how to use this calculator. First of all, you'll see in this grey information box that you'll get a more accurate estimate if you log into the calculator through your Centrelink online account by logging into MyGov. That way, the tool can access your personal details, like how much you're already receiving from age pension and your date of birth, to make sure that you're eligible and tailor the calculator more to you. If you don't want to log into your online account or you don't have access to one, it's okay to just continue and use the calculator as I am. It just means you'll need to enter your personal details manually. First of all, you need to put in your date of birth. In this example, I'm just going to use someone who's born in 1944, which means that they are above age pension age and are eligible to use the scheme. I'll say no, they don't have a partner. If you do, you can of course select yes. The calculator then asks if you're currently receiving any age pension, because this will impact how much you can borrow from the Home Equity Access Scheme. It also says here you need to let them know about carer payment or disability support pension, because they are also qualifying pensions to access this scheme. So in this case, I'll say yes, this person is currently receiving an age pension. I'll say no to rent assistance. And this question now is asking if the rate of your pension is reduced by the income or assets test. So if you're receiving a full pension, you would say no. In this case, I'm going to say yes, my pension is being reduced. And it again gives me this warning that I could get a more accurate estimate if I log in, because if I log in, it will know exactly how much age pension or disability pension or carer payment I'm currently receiving. If I still don't want to do that, I can just tell the calculator what my last pension payment was. So let's say in this case, this individual is receiving $400 a fortnight, which is a reduced rate of pension. We then also need to put in the value of the real estate that we own. So that means the value of your home that you're living in that you want to use to access a reverse mortgage through this scheme. So again, I'll use an example of $800,000 value for the home. The tool is going to assume that the value of my property increases by 3% per year. If I'm comfortable with that, I can just leave it as is. If I'd rather put in a different figure, I can do that here. I'm just going to leave it as the default so that you can see how the calculator works. It asks again here how much we want to offer as security for the loan. So you can use up to the whole value of the home that you own, as long as there's no other outstanding loan on it. Or you can use a lower amount if you'd prefer not to expose the whole equity that you have in your home. Here again, it will ask if you have an existing loan. So this again is to tailor the details more to you. If you've already started receiving payments from the Home Equity Access Scheme, or the pension loan scheme as it was known in the past. I'll just choose no here. Now, last of all, the calculator is going to ask how much we want to borrow. It's going to ask if we want an advance payment and how much we want to receive fortnightly. There are limits on both of these. The advance payment is limited to 50% of the rate of age pension for a period of 26 fortnights. And that can be received up to twice a year. So you can take up to 2 advance payments per year. You don't really need to know the ins and outs of how it works because the calculator will work it out for you. I'll show you what I mean. Let's say, yes, we want to use an advance payment. It will tell me straight away, okay, the maximum you can ask for as an advance payment is this figure. I don't need that much, so I'll just put in $10,000. Let's say I've got a lot of bills that I need to clear up that are overdue, and I need that money straight away. So I would put that in there. The calculator then wants to know if I would like to also get fortnightly payments after I've received my advance. And I would, so I will say, yes, I would like to. And it will offer me these options. I can choose to just receive the maximum that's available, a percentage of the maximum. So say if you wanted to be conservative and say, I only want to receive 50% of the maximum amount I could, you could put that in here. Or you can choose a fixed amount, which is probably the most likely one to choose because you know your expenses and how much extra a fortnight you really need to live on. When we choose a fixed amount, again, the calculator very helpfully tells us the maximum that we can choose, which is $1,600 or so a fortnight. In this situation, I could say, well, perhaps this individual doesn't need that much. Maybe they only want an extra $500 a fortnight, $1,000 a month to cover their reasonable living expenses. And now we've actually finished filling in the calculator. So we can press this calculate button and it will give us a summary. This is quite wordy, but don't worry, there's a graph further on that could be a little bit easier to understand. It gives us all the details here of our proposed loan. We've said we want to advance $10,000 and then get fortnightly payments of $500. You can confirm that that's accurate based on what you do want and what you put into the calculator. It tells us that the loan is going to last until 2047, which is a good amount of time into the future. And it tells us the estimated value of our home on that day based on 3% growth rate and how much we're estimated to owe on the loan. So we can see here the home should be valued at roughly $1.5 million and will owe the government $540. So that still leaves a good amount of equity left in the home to be passed on to the next generation or whatever else we want to do with that. Now, if we scroll down further, you can see here the graph that I was telling you about. And this shows your borrowings and your interest. So the light blue is the amount that you've actually received in payments and the dark blue is the interest. This dotted line here shows when the loan payments would stop because you've reached the maximum loan amount, which is nearly 25 years into the future. You can also view this as a table if you would prefer, although it's quite a lot of data to take in table form, so I tend to prefer to look at the graph. You could print this out as well if you wished to. You can see this print button at the bottom so that you can take this information away and consider it in more detail at your leisure, perhaps show it to a financial planner who's helping you or to your family members who want to know about how this would work. There's also the option here, a last way to tailor the calculation. If you have a maximum amount in mind that you don't want to borrow more than, you could enter this here. So let's do that just for the sake of an example. If we put in 400,000 as the amount we don't want to go above for borrowings, it will adjust the graph for us and say, well, okay, if you don't want to borrow more than that, your loan payments will stop in actually a little bit less than 20 years rather than closer to 25 if you're prepared to borrow more. So that's how you can do that last piece of tailoring. If you do decide that you'd like to go ahead and apply for the Home Equity Access Scheme, there's also a lovely link here for you that you can click on with instructions on how to apply for that scheme. And Centrelink and the Financial Information Service are also very helpful with that and will assist you with your application if required. So I hope that this walkthrough has helped you to understand how to use this calculator and what it is useful for, and also perhaps made you aware of the Home Equity Access Scheme as an alternative to a traditional reverse mortgage. It does have a no negative equity guarantee, just like a standard reverse mortgage does. So there is no possibility that you can end up owing more than the value of your home, which is a nice reassurance. Thank you.